You've also called for things that would affect those companies.
While a drone comes around and takes their pictures.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Well, they made the
That's
drone,
right.
so
and
it's kind of their fault.
information will all be posted. And okay, good.
You've also called for accountable capitalism that would change the board structure of those companies and many others. You've called for restrictions on the ability of companies like that to lobby, which they do up the wazoo. Looking at these people...
Just say, drive out of business, partly because they get this incredible advantage from having the information of the platform, and also because they have the incredible ability to manipulate the platform. That is, put themselves right at the top of page 1 and put that competitor back on page 16, where nobody ever goes. So my view on this is, it's a little like baseball. You can be an umpire, a platform, or you can own teams. That's fine, but you can't be an umpire and own one of the teams that's in the game. So the principle here is break those apart, and you can work for the platform part, you can work for one of the teams, that's a lot of fun. But if you work for one of the teams, you compete like every other team in America. Because the whole idea behind this is actually for the people in this room. It's for people who are tech entrepreneurs. It's for people who have small businesses and want to grow them into big businesses, who have medium-sized businesses and want to grow them, who are entrepreneurs and want to try that new idea. And it says we want to keep competitive, not let a giant who has an incredible information advantage and a manipulative advantage be able to snuff you out. I'm deeply concerned right now that the space around companies like Amazon, Facebook, Google is now referred to by venture capitalists as the kill zone. Because if you try to step a small business into that, one of two things happens. It either gets bought up when it shows its worth, and before it can actually grow into something that's really strong and valuable, or it just gets wiped out.
That
and
sound
we're
actually...
launching, that was another one
that was Jeff Bezos
dropped.
fainting, actually.
That's right.
Yeah.
But think about it. Venture capital in this area over the last half dozen years or so has dropped by about 20%. Because that opportunity to do what you do best, to come up with a great idea, to work your heart out to make it happen, to be able to compete on a level playing field is taken away by these platform giants. So my view is break those things apart and we will have a much more competitive, robust market in America. That's how capitalism should work.
Now, what's interesting to me in that pitch to this room is it's still in the framework of, if we do this, it'll be better for everybody.
Well, everybody except
right.
the guy right at the top that runs right now.
One of the kind of reigning ideologies that I think a lot about, that I think has done a lot of damage to this country over the last many years, is the idea of the win-win, the kind of cult of the win-win. That we can make the world better without hurting anybody. And I wonder, the tech companies are sort of the win-winniest part of that cult. The bigger Google is, the more money Google is, the more money Facebook has, everything will be great. And I think we now all have a sense that that's not quite right. So for justice to be done on some of these issues, who actually has to do worse in America? Who has to maybe have fewer homes? Who has to maybe have fewer options about where